He stood at the edge of the crowded street, the rain mingling with the neon glow of the city lights. When he first saw her, her back straight, chin lifted, eyes defiant even as she squared off against the world that had beaten her down. She was an island of stubborn pride amid a sea of desperation. He watched, hidden beneath his designer umbrella, as she confronted a group of thugs demanding her last few coins. Her words were sharp, her stance unyielding, and though she was outnumbered, she never wavered. When one thug shoved her, she spit defiantly in his face and kicked out, sending him stumbling back. She was everything he admired, fearless, untouchable, raw. He slipped through the crowd and intervened quietly, his presence alone enough to scatter the men. She looked up at him, her chest heaving, eyes blazing with suspicion. "Who the hell are you?" she demanded, voice low and controlled. "A friend," he said simply, offering her his handkerchief. "You shouldn't be out here alone." She snatched the cloth, but kept her guard up. "I don't need charity," he smiled, a soft, genuine curve of his lips. "Then let me offer you something better than charity." That night, he couldn't sleep. Her fiery spirit haunted him. He had everything: power, wealth, influence, but she had something he craved: authenticity. By dawn, he made a decision. He found her again on that same street corner, handing out sandwiches to a stray dog, her stubborn pride softened by compassion. "I meant what I said," he told her, voice low. "I'd like to take you somewhere safe." She raised an eyebrow. "Safe? Like a mansion full of strangers in tuxedos?" "No, thanks." He held out his car keys. "Come see. No obligations." She hesitated, studying him. Finally, she tucked her hands into her torn jacket pockets and said, "All right, but I'm leaving first thing in the morning." The black sedan glided through the city, past towering skyscrapers and silent avenues, until it reached the iron gates of his estate. She stared up at the sprawling mansion, its stone facade glimmering in the early light. "This is where you live?" she asked, breath-catching. "Yes," he replied, opening her door. "Come in." Inside, the halls were vast, lined with priceless art and delicate sculptures. The hush was almost reverent. She moved slowly, eyes wide. "I could get lost in here." He led her to a sitting room overlooking gardens that stretched like emerald carpets. "You won't get lost?" She sank into a plush armchair, arms folded. "Why do you care about me?" He leaned against the mantel, gazing at her. "Because you remind me of who I used to be before everything was given to me." She laughed, bitter and soft. "I don't need your pity." "I'm not offering pity," he said, stepping closer. "I'm offering you choice. Stay free in the streets or stay here and let me show you another life." She met his gaze, challenge in her eyes. "What makes you think I want another life?" He studied her fiercely. "I think you deserve one." She looked away, silence stretching. Finally, she stood. "Show me this life of yours for one night, then I'm gone." Dinner was served in a grand dining hall, the table laid with crystal and silver. He watched her as she hesitated over the white tablecloth, then sat. The food was exquisite flaky fish, vegetables bathed in truffle oil, but she ate sparingly. He talked of art, of travel, but most of his words were for her resilience, her kindness to the stray animals. Her fire-dotted midnight, he escorted her to the ballroom. Moonlight streamed through stained glass, painting the marble floor in colored patterns. Music began a string quartet unseen, and he offered his hand. She hesitated, then placed her palm in his. They danced slowly, the world outside forgotten. He led gently, and she followed, her guard melting with every step. When the last note faded, he held her close. "Stay," he whispered. She pulled back. "You said one night." "One night can change everything." She searched his eyes, vulnerability shining through his facade. "And if I stay?" He brushed a strand of hair from her face. "Then I'll spend every day proving it was worth it." Morning light found her on the terrace, wrapped in a blanket, watching dawn break over the gardens. He joined her with 2 cups of tea. She accepted one hesitantly. "Why'd you really bring me here?" she asked. He sat beside her. "Because I wanted you to know you could choose a different path. But only if you wanted it." She sipped the tea, warmth spreading. "And if I can't choose?" He tilted her chin gently. "Then I'll help you learn." She studied him, the man who had dared to challenge her world. In that moment, her walls cracked. She set down her cup. "Teach me." Over the following weeks, he introduced her to a world she'd never known. Art lessons in a sunlit studio, late-night piano in an echoing music room, Shakespeare under the stars in the courtyard amphitheater. She resisted at first, fearful of vulnerability, but gradually she began to open, laughter blending with his, as they explored hidden wings of the mansion together. He, in turn, learned from her how to find beauty in simplicity, how to stand firm when life tried to break. He admired her unshakable spirit, the way she still tensed at midnight phone calls from creditors, how she frowned at exotic dishes, preferring bread and cheese. He cooked her omelets just the way she liked, plain, with a sprinkling of salt. Afternoon, she found him at the edge of the koi pond, feeding the fish. "I have to go back," she said, voice trembling. "My sister needs me." He nodded, though his heart clenched. "Tell me where to take you." She shook her head. "No. I need to earn money. I need to do it on my own." He pressed her hand. "Let me help." She pulled free. "I won't be bought." He closed his eyes. "I'm not buying you. I care for you." Her eyes filled. "I care about you too, but I can't." Her words broke as tears slipped down her cheeks. He gently gathered her in his arms. That night, he found her packing in the small guest suite. Her clothes were folded into a battered suitcase. He stood in the doorway. "I told you I'd let you go," he said softly. She didn't look up. "You did." He crossed the room and knelt. "Stay." She dropped the suitcase lid. "I can't." Her voice cracked. "I love you, but I can't live in a world I don't belong to." He rose and held out his hand. "Then let me belong to yours." She met his gaze, the mansion's opulence reflected in her eyes. Slowly she reached out and took his hand. They left together the next morning, not to the city streets, but to a small house he had arranged for her, humble, unadorned, yet hers. She unlocked the door, stepping inside, and he followed. No grand hallways, no priceless art, just walls she could color, rooms she could fill with memories. She turned to him, a tentative smile playing on her lips. "Thank you." He smiled back. "This is just the beginning." Outside, the rose vines he had planted bloomed, their petals soft as hope. She leaned into him, and he wrapped his arms around her. They had crossed worlds, one of shadows and survival, the other of light and luxury, and found that love could bridge any chasm. Together, they would write a new story, one not dictated by wealth or desperation, but by 2 hearts daring to believe in each other. Their days became a blend of her world and his. Morning market visits where she bartered, like a queen, and he followed, amused. Afternoons teaching underprivileged children to read pro bono. Evenings by the fireplace, where she read him stories from her childhood, and he listened as if they were the most precious poetry. The stubborn street girl and the billionaire built a life not defined by their origins, but by their shared resilience and compassion. One evening, under a sky bursting with stars, he knelt on one knee on the cottage lawn, an uncut ring in his hand. She gasped. "Will you marry me?" He asked, voice steady. Tears glistened in her eyes. She laughed through her tears, shaking her head. You're crazy. He opened the ring. Will you take a chance on crazy? She covered her face, then let him slip the ring onto her finger. She threw her arms around him. Yes. He lifted her into his arms as fireworks bloomed overhead real ones, arranged by him to celebrate their love. She laughed wide and free. In that moment, the stubborn street girl became the queen of his heart, and the billionaire found a richness no fortune could buy. Together, they lived a story of love's triumph, proving that when two souls choose each other, nothing can stand in their way.